Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of these briefings and my weekly radio show, Operation Freedom, is to provide you information the bought-off, lamestream, fake media will not present. Our goal is to empower you with information so that you can then network this information to anyone and everyone you know. The more people we have informed with the facts, as opposed to the propaganda being generated by the bought-off, lamestream, fake media, a tentacle of the deep state. The more people we have empowered with the facts, the sooner we end this reign of terror by the deep state. Today's a huge day. It's election day. It's all on the line. All of us have done everything possible to keep freedom alive. This election is extremely important, as was the election in 2016. We had a huge win. It dealt a huge blow to the deep state, and we know that based on everything we've seen transpire over the past 4 years. They have done everything in their power to negate Donald Trump, and they have failed because of his perseverance, dedication, sacrifice, and his God-given abilities to communicate with people and to be an incredibly strong leader. Well, we're at a crossroads again in our country. If we lose this, it's pretty well done. And the deep state is panicked, they're desperate, and they will do anything and everything to accomplish their goals and objective of removing Donald Trump from power. We know that from the whole Russian collusion hoax, the Ukraine hoax, the impeachment hoax, them unleashing Coven through their technocracy, their little pet rat, China, on the world, specifically directed as well at the West and in particular the United States. And then we had our whole Black Lives Matter, Antifa, burn the house down approach for months. They thought all of that was going to cause such economic chaos, societal chaos, that there'd be nothing left of Donald Trump. Well, they were wrong. They keep making the same mistake. And that is they underestimate Donald Trump and those of us who support him. The title of today's presentation is "It's Time to Crawl Over Broken Glass to Vote for President Trump and for Freedom." Today is the day. If you haven't voted, go vote. If you know of people that are unable to get to the polls, help get them to the polls. The more we overwhelm the polls with voters, the better chance we have of pulling this freedom agenda off, keeping Donald Trump and his administration in power. It's that simple. Now, a couple things. Today, you're going to be given a tremendous amount of propaganda through the bought-off, lamestream, fake media. I suggest that you don't watch any of the mainstream, lamestream channels. CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. I have said this for years and have been denigrated for saying this, but I stand behind it. Just look at the management of Fox. They sit on the Council on Foreign Relations, a globalist deep state think tank. How do you think Donna Brazile is in the mix and Paul Ryan, deep state players? Just look at what they've been doing with their on-air talent. The never-Trumpers that they moved to the front, like Chris Wallace and Brett Baer and Martha McCallum. And those that, if you will, are on the freedom side of the equation, they have them there, but they try to stifle them. Whether it's Tucker or Laura Ingraham or Lou Dobbs or Elizabeth McDonald, they try to stifle them. And granted, they have incredible self-fortitude and are able to pull off some of the reports they're able to pull off. But when you're watching tonight, there's a couple things that's going to happen. One, they're not going to call states early or when they should call them as the results come in. They're going to hold them back. Why? They don't want to influence what's happening on the West Coast, that there's a huge red wave of support for President Trump. They are going to do everything in their power to hold back calling states. They're going to shade, oh, Joe Biden's doing better than, oh, who would think Joe Biden would be doing so well in Washington, D.C. voting? Who would think Joe Biden would be doing so well in New York? Who would think Joe Biden would be doing so well in Massachusetts? Come on. But that's how they're going to shave it. They're going to hold calling off states. They're not going to call Florida early, although as I understand it from internal polling, from within the Trump administration, honest polling, President Trump is pounding Biden in Florida, but you're not going to see him call it early. Oh, no. And they're going to be putting spin on it. They don't want to influence what happens on the West Coast against Biden. Remember, they did this in the 2018 midterms. They were calling elections very early on, and trying to influence so that more Dems would vote and more R's, Republicans and independents, would be suppressed from voting. This is their game, a suppression game. By the way, lest you decide, I'm going to watch Fox anyway, you need to have this piece of information in your quiver, as Nancy Pelosi would say. From Paul Sperry. Records reveal the analyst who will run Fox News election decision desk, with Brett Baer and Martha McCallum and Chris Wallace, all the never-Trumpers lined up. Oh, they'll bring Donna Brazile in. Yeah, Karl Rove, Bushy. Come on. We all know where the Bushes are. Part of the syndicate, part of the globalist syndicate. No. Him and his whiteboard. Oh yeah. Well, Karl plays it down the middle. Yeah, right. Okay. He's playing for Team Bush. Records reveal the analyst who will run Fox News election decision desk is a registered Democrat who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. He gave Democrats more than $4,000, including $1,525 to Obama. Aaron Mishkin will announce states for Biden or Trump on election night. Okay, so you know how this is going to go. They are going to focus on Fox because they think the more conservatives are going to be watching Fox, and they're going to try to demoralize you and every person who is thinking and focused on freedom. So if you're going to watch Fox, take it all with it. Not just a grain of salt, not just a pound of salt, but a ton of salt. It's all propaganda. The key is voting and getting as many people to vote. And remember, their game plan is smoke and mirrors, try to make it look like it's not an electoral landslide going to Trump, which is their significant possibility. People I know and people I trust on the inside are looking for over 320 electoral college votes that President Trump will get. He needs 270 to win. And it might go as high as 326 for President Trump. But they won't call states early. They'll try to keep states in the mix just like they did in the midterms, and then all of a sudden some funny things with the votes, and we'll talk about that. Now, speaking of that, if you did not listen to the interview I posted with General Tom McInerney, you need to do so. On Saturday, I was contacted by General McInerney and a number of people that are significant in the political world that there was something funny that has been set up to benefit Biden and the deep state. General McInerney and his team and all those around him have been working 24/7 and networking with the administration, networking with officials to try to block this criminal activity. There were three parts of this. One, expose the criminality. We did that on Operation Freedom. We did that through social media. We did that by posting the interview I did with General McInerney on Sunday night. We put it immediately up on our YouTube channel, this YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, go to it as soon as this is done and then network it to anyone and everyone you know. So one was exposure. Two, networking into the Trump administration, and General McInerney was brilliant at that. No, he got it at the highest levels. Three is it comes down to us. The way we beat this game that the Dems and the deep state are planning and trying to implement to steal the election is by overwhelming the polls with our presence. in voting, in us voting, in encouraging all of our family members, friends, co-workers, and telling people not just to vote, but vote for President Trump and vote for the right side of the ballot, the freedom side of the ballot. Might there be some rhinos on that right side? There might be. Okay, we can deal with them later. Let's just get the people in place. That's the key. That's where we have to go. Those are the 3 steps. And we have to do whatever's necessary to mark that vote. It's key. It's how we overwhelm the system and overwhelm their criminality by voting, legally voting with as many people as possible. If you have a neighbor that's disabled, that has trouble getting to the polls, ask them, how you get in the polls? I'm happy to help you. And get them there. And talk to them about why you're voting for President Trump, why you're voting for freedom, the criminality associated with Biden and his family. They might not even know. Well, educate them. It's key. But this is about voting and crawling over broken glass. And I want to, and I did this the other day. I want to do it again briefly. This was written by David Sound of the Federalist. And here's what he said. I didn't vote for President Trump in 2016. But I crawl over broken glass to vote for him now. I don't care about the tone of his tweets nor if his opponents think he's rude. I've seen that he is a patriot who genuinely loves the United States of America and its people. Even though I had voted for every Republican presidential candidate since 1980, I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016. This is David Sound. Many Republican nominees had been huge disappointments to me, and I wasn't going to vote for yet another GOP candidate I thought would betray my trust. I could not imagine Trump as a genuine conservative who would champion limited government, respect individual freedom and liberty, and protect the unborn. But was I ever wrong? Although I didn't vote for President Trump in 2016, I would crawl over broken glass to vote for him in 2020. And that has to be true for all of us, folks. In 2016, I was convinced Trump was another New York liberal. On election night, however, I smiled. I was happy that at least Hillary Clinton wouldn't be president, and I suspected that the next 4 years with Trump would be at least entertaining. The primary reason I didn't vote for Trump in 2016 was that I didn't believe him. I didn't trust that he would be pro-life, a non-negotiable issue for me. His bluster and bravado didn't appeal to me. I took him literally, but not seriously, in contrast to his supporters who took him seriously, but not literally. By the time Trump took office, I was willing to give him a chance. He was the president after all and deserved the opportunity to prove himself. During the first year of his presidency, I was impressed by his commitment to keeping his campaign promises, unlike most politicians. By the end of 2017, I classified myself as a Trump supporter because of what he had already done as president. Trump's list of first-term accomplishments has been truly impressive. Building the strongest U.S. economy in my lifetime, through historic business and personal tax cuts, resulting in millions of jobs created and record low unemployment. Cutting federal government regulations that had stranglehold on American business innovators and entrepreneurs. Confronting China's trade abuses and negotiating fair trade deals with Canada, Mexico, South Korea, and Japan, just to name a few. Eliminating the Obamacare individual mandate. And I can tell you as a healthcare provider, that is key. That was key. And President Trump, as opposed to what Biden has been lying to you about, President Trump has an extensive plan in place, including coverage of pre-existing conditions. He has never wavered on that. He has always wanted and needed to cover pre-existing conditions. But his is a freedom-based approach of about empowering patients and physicians as opposed to government bureaucrats for, if you will, dictating healthcare plans and policies and treatments. As opposed to what Joe Biden is about. Some far-off bureaucrat thousands of miles away dictating of how you can be treated or even if you can be treated. Joe Biden, it would be the rationer in chief just as Obama was. It is the most unethical and inhumane means of cutting healthcare costs, and it's something I have fought for 34 years and will continue to fight. That's Dave Janda. Let me go back to David Sound. Rebuilding our military through investments in our defense capabilities as well as securing the largest military pay raise in a decade. Nominating and confirming more solid conservative circuit court judges than any other first-term administration. Nominating and fighting for the confirmation of 3 originalist Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, and then brokering the Abraham Accords peace deal between Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Sudan. Consistently fighting Democrats to build the wall to secure our southern border, reinforcing and repairing hundreds of miles with more construction on the way. This is just a brief summary of the Trump administration's accomplishments. And it's why, folks, not just David Sound, but each and every one of us needs to crawl over broken glass to vote for President Trump. There's a lot been happening. Joe Biden has come out of his basement. He's refused to deal with, obviously, his wonderful son, the bag man for Joe Biden's and the Biden family's money laundering operation. And if there is anything you want to tell a neighbor who still has a Biden lawn sign on their lawn is, why are you supporting somebody who's laundering money criminally for Russia, China, Ukraine, Romania, Kazakhstan, Yemen, God knows how many other countries, and laundering it at the expense of the American public into their own family's pockets? That's what Joe Biden has been doing. And just to be clear, this was on social media. It's a pretty good review. Hunter Biden left his laptop at a computer repair shop. People say, well, what happened? I don't understand that laptop thing. Here it is. Hunter Biden left his laptop at a computer repair shop. The computer shop made a copy of Hunter Biden's hard drive when he failed to pick it up. The FBI took possession of Hunter Biden's laptop in December 2019. Actually, as we pointed out before, they knew about the contents of that laptop since 2015. That's another story for another day. We've gone into it before, however. The computer repair shop gave a copy of the hard drive to Rudy Giuliani. The FBI has hid the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop. The New York Post was given the contents by Rudy Giuliani. And that is how all of us found out what was really going on. So when it's all said and done, when you talk to your neighbor with the Biden lawn sign still on their lawn, which only can indicate that they're either ignorant of the facts or they're a deep state zealot that is fine with the selling out of our country to communist countries such as Russia, China. Yeah. But here it is. The Bidens sold access and influence to China, Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Kazakhstan, Yemen, you name the country. And the money flowed through their bagman, cocaine-addicted, crack-addicted Hunter Biden, and funneled into Joe Biden's pockets, Joe Biden's brother's pockets, and the Biden family vault. And I truly believe that when you trace that money, some of that money is going to be going to many other people, including Barack Obama. They sold the country out. And the few people that were willing to report this have gotten hammered, censored. Glenn Greenwald, investigative journalist, resigned from the Intercept after editors refused to publish his Biden criticism. This from Zero Hedge. The Intercept co-founder Glenn Greenwald resigned from the outlet after editors censored an article that he wrote, refusing to publish it unless that he remove all sections critical of Joe Biden. That would be the same candidate, Joe Biden, who was vehemently supported by all Intercept editors that were involved in the suppression. Glenn Greenwald wrote this. The Washington Post, actually, not surprisingly, deep state tentacle, said, "We must treat the Hunter Biden leaks as if they were a foreign intelligence operation, even if they probably weren't and aren't." Glenn Greenwald wrote this, one of the clearest and most important sentences you'll read, showing how the U.S. media really works. This case, the Washington Post op-ed page. Remember, Washington Post, as I just said the following. "We must treat the Hunter Biden leaks as if they were a foreign intelligence operation, even if they probably aren't." And then you had Joe Biden out there saying, well, there are 50 former intelligence operatives, including 3 CIA directors. Remember, the CIA. What did Mike Pompeo say when he was at CIA? The job of the CIA is we lie, we cheat, and we steal. Joe Biden say, well, 3 of the former CIA directors, including John Brennan, there's a real credible source, says that, this is Russian disinformation. By the way, the Department of Justice, the FBI, the Director of National Intelligence, John Radcliffe, overseeing 17 intelligence agencies, has said, no, this is not Russian disinformation. These emails are legit, and the information contained in is legit. This is a money laundering operation.